When I came to Baba, it was all pleasant and good and all that. Then what happened is, years passed by, and what happened? I started becoming more irritable. Yes, all sorts of things happened. Sometimes I used to speak a lie or something like that. Sometimes I used to do this. I sometimes used to despise somebody, you see, who was not behaving properly, or I would say that, oh, you are a liar. You see. Why did you do that? Why did you say that? I became brusque, outspoken, and all that sort of thing. Rude. Many things happened. And not only people around me with whom I had lived for so many years in presence of Baba started looking at me, so what a change that has taken place. My parents started saying that what has become of you? You have been with Baba, what has become of you? All these things, you see, brought home to me the fact that I have changed for the worse instead of for the better. So then it made me morose. It affected my mental attitude towards everything around me, you see, and I just tried to keep myself aloof and quiet and all that to get over this. So Baba asked me, what mattered? Why is it like that? Why have you lost that liveliness? What is the matter with you?
One day you were saying that it's all a dream, okay? It's all a dream.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there thinking, Eruch spent all of life with Baba, and he says it's all a dream. And I was thinking, easy for him to say. I think it's a dream sometimes, but then the next minute I'm lost, you know. And then you told me that it happens to you too, and you started explaining the process. And then the next question was, well, what of this concept of Baba? You spent your whole life, and then you know what I'm getting to. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, then I said, well, what about our life with Baba? It is also a dream, I said. The whole thing is a dream. It is a dream. So then we asked about Baba, just as she asked the other days, yes, what about your life with Baba? So we asked, what about our life with you? What about your physical presence amidst us? Baba says, it's a dream. Even this body that you see, it's a dream, you see. All this is a dream. But there are two types of dreams, you see. Did I say that to you? Yeah. So what, the dream that you when you see me and your life with me in proximity with my physical presence is a real dream. And life without proximity is a false dream. So the real dream leads you to reality, to the real awakening. You see. What you have to do is, from your false awake state, you have to go into a dream state, and then you have to enter into the absolute state, you see. So Baba says that my being in your midst, with this physical frame that you see me, is so important, although it is a dream. Because you all are in dreams, so I must awake you through your own dream state. So I assume this dream form for you, because you are in dreams. And in the dream I have to communicate to you. So from the state of my reality, I assume this form and be in dream with you to apprise you of the fact that all this is a dream. So then you say that, but you who are reality, you tell us that all this is a dream then, but we have you by your side as reality. Baba says, as reality I am, but I have assumed, reality has assumed the role of a dream state, you see, by having this form, so that I can communicate with you in your dream. So what happens, you see, Baba gave us a good figure, that you are seeing, say you are asleep tonight you go to sleep. And in the sleep, you see, all this thing that you see and witness and hear and all that comes back, is projected in your dream. In that what you see is that Baba is there in his physical frame, form. The picture or the form that you like best of his, he appears there and you feel so happy. And then you are blessed to also hear him discourse with you. He gives you a discourse there, you see, and you just hear it attentively, patiently, and you are just excited in your dream. And you are so happy that Baba, and you feel that you are with Baba. In the dream you don't feel that you are a dream, you feel that you are with Baba. And the whole thing goes on and on and on. In the discourse that you hear in the dream, Baba says it's all a dream. So again, with the mind of care, you see, punctuating there in the midst of the discourse, but Baba, how can this be a dream? We see you by our side, you see in front of you, and you are telling, you say that you are the reality, and how can it be a dream? So Baba says, no, in spite of it, it's all a dream, including this body of mine is a dream. But then there are two different types of dreams. The dream that you have is false dream. This dream that you see is true, real dream, you see. And this real dream will lead you to reality. So then what happens? She insists, how can it be a dream? We can't follow it, we can't do this. In the meantime, it so happens, you see. You are dreaming all this in your dream, where you see her insisting and all that. And you also wonder, what she says is quite right. We are all here sitting by Baba's side. How beautiful it is. It's so true. And how can it be a dream? All of a sudden, a dog barks near your ear, you see. And you are awakened. Something happens and you awake, you see. And when you're fully awake, what a nuisance the dog is, you see. What Baba, I was seeing Baba. And then you realize, yes, Baba said it's a dream. It was a dream. So that's how it happens when you are awakened truly, once and for all, where there is no sleep at all later on. Then you realize that his coming in our midst is also a dream. But it is an essential dream. Unless and until he comes in our midst in a dream form, in a dream state, we won't wake up. He comes to remind us that this is all a dream. It's an important thing. It's so essential. And only because he exercises his infinite compassion, he alone can do it in the right sense. And he being above everything, he being reality, he cannot involve himself in a dream. You see that? He doesn't get involved in a dream. He is always aloof there. We get ourselves involved in the dream. We feel happy and we feel unhappy, and we feel that why did the dog bark and wake me up and all that I've lost the sight of Baba and all that. So he's above that. Nothing affects him. Being reality. That's all. You don't say anything wrong. You keep quiet all the time.
Just listen.
You just listen? Listen.
And my questions seem to get answered.
Yes, I
Being
think that
quiet
means
and
me too.
listening.
I think I must ask her at the moment, and then you'll answer it, and I think, well, I must ask this too, and then you'll answer it. It goes on and on.
And Reba, I heard you say from Michael that you are not that silent.
I spilled the beans.
I gotta warm up. Get my motor on.
So if you're in the dream, and Baba's in the dream, and you're looking at Baba in the dream, listening to him, or if you're not looking at Baba and you're listening to something else, you're just as close to Baba,
Yes.
as long as he's in the dream with you.
As long as he is in dream with you, as long as you are in that orbit, whether you are there or not, whether even if the throng of multitude is so large that you are unable to see, but you have the feeling that you are in that congregation, you see. Don't you have such feeling sometimes? Sometimes there's a huge, vast crowd, you see. Say 1 million people there. Come for a particular occasion. But as long as you have a feeling that you have attended this congregation, you need not see it. It's impossible to see the personality for whom you come, or for a certain thing. Suppose if Jesus Christ's original cross were to be exposed, you see, in the United States, and the whole United States, and it is to be exposed only for 1 day. And suppose all the Christians, all those of the Christian faith, you may call it, come there. Will everybody be able to see it? No. But what will happen? At least I was present there at the function. So until such day, you must have that feeling that you were there. Then it's there. It's a real dream. You follow?
Yes, but you don't have to remember it all the time, do you? I mean, you don't have to think about the fact that you're there all the time.
You have to.
You have to.
To get out of that dream. Yeah. You have to. Means you don't do it. You don't do it. You can't because of our impressions, because of the pattern, our sanskaric ties and all that. Law of karma doesn't permit us to think of it all the time. But we have to frequently, often. And
Is it
more often.
like getting into the habit?
Yes.
The more you think of it, the more you do it.
Then the day of dawn comes. When there is no sleep, then there is awakening, a true awakening.
Eruch,
Yes.
you started to say something yesterday about this. I was wondering if you'd want to continue on about probably Baba's most famous statement and probably his most misunderstood or most simplified one was, don't worry, be happy. And it's always so oversimplified and people mistake just exactly what he meant by it. And you started to tell me a little bit about it yesterday.
Little about it. It was told everything. Everything of it was. What is there? Yes.
I didn't hear it. Tell it again.
Go on demanding. There will come a day when I will demand all of you also something.
Anything you can get. Anything we can give you.
The thing is that we always take it so lightly. Baba says that don't worry, be happy. And there are people who take these other statements very lightly. And there are people who come closer to Baba and who have come closer to Baba, they take it very seriously, so seriously that they somehow or other get into the discipline of always having a cheese smile around them, despite whatever be the circumstances. This is not what Baba wanted. This is not what Baba wanted. Baba didn't want you to just create an atmosphere of gaiety around you, or just all the time laugh and giggle and all that, or expose your brown or white or clean teeth. You see? Baba didn't explain that, you see, through this message. All what Baba wanted was that you all should feel happy, that you all shouldn't worry, because all this is nothing but a dream, you see. Why should you worry about the dream? Suppose if you were to be attacked in your dream by a tiger, and in the dream you feel so horrified, you're mobbed by it, you feel it that way, and you're scared and terrified, and you even are out of breath, you see, because you're so scared. But then, if in the dream somebody comes and tells you, like Baba says, man, don't be afraid, it's just a dream. You won't believe it. You are terrified. Don't you? Can you not imagine such an experience? Yes. But then when you wake up from the dream, it was so. Then you realize, yes, Baba who had come in the dream and said that the mauling of the tiger is just a dream. Don't get frightened. Keep happy. Don't worry. Don't worry, Baba says. That's what he meant by it, that all this is a passing show. You have to face it, no doubt. But keep at the back of your mind that it's a passing show. Sure, no more than that. It's just a smoke screen, you see. It'll pass away. It does what you call burn your eyes and make your eyes tear, what you call wet with irritation and all that. It chokes you sometimes, you see, the smoke. But it will pass away. So don't worry. And be happy, he says. There are two things, he says. Don't worry and be happy. And be happy means, the other day what did you say? I forget now. What were you saying? What Baba said that? I said, no, Baba has never said that.
Make yourself happy.
He said that Baba says, make yourself happy. How can one make oneself happy? Be happy, Baba says. So I said, Joel, Baba, I haven't heard Baba saying that make yourself happy. On the contrary, I heard, make others happy. That's what Baba said. Make others, how to love God in that. There is something like that. I haven't read that whole message, but there is something like that. Make others happy. If you want to love God, if you want to know how to love God, make others happy. That's what Baba said. So if you can make others happy, have you ever come across even one incident in your life where you have made somebody else happy? And what happiness you derive out of it? Do you all know that through your personal experience? So it's no need to dilate upon it. It is so fact, so obvious a thing. You see. When you make anybody happy, even in the slightest degree, that feeling of great warmth is greater than happiness. And if you continue to have thoughts of not harming anybody, helping everybody, being honest, being natural, you are continuously happy. That warmth inside is continuously there. If you don't pose yourself that which you are not, if you don't try to remain as an imposter, so to say, or otherwise the negative feelings are always there and they put a damper upon that feeling of warmth within you. So when you just throw these things out and be natural, most natural, you will always have that warmth which is more than happiness. That is what Baba means by be happy. Don't worry, be happy. That's how you should be. It brings about a complete change. It's the only thing that makes you turn towards God.
Suffering.
Yes, suffering. It's the only thing that makes you turn towards God. Pain and suffering are two beautiful angels of men. Very beautiful, very. They are the angels, real angels. Only then we can turn to Him. Otherwise, nothing. Nothing makes us turn to Him. So, this Mrs. X, you see, is taking Baba seriously now. She goes back to her home. Mr. X is indulging there, and here her indulgence is in remembering Baba, in invoking his help. Well, in the meantime, there is a drain on his finances, and this man loses all the accumulated wealth and all that. He eventually, of course, he is unable to buy liquor, and he is unable to engage these beautiful dancing girls, and he is unable to throw out parties and all that. Friends leave him. Nobody comes there. Nobody shows up the faces. The dancing girls have disappeared, and the concubines have disappeared from the house. He is again left with his wife and children. But he is so miserable. He can't show his face, you see, in society. He doesn't know what to do. So, the wife tells him, why should we lead such a life? We have been used to living a life, you see, of great happiness, harmony, love. Haven't you no feeling for your children and for your wife? I love you, in spite of what you have done. I'm by your side. You are my strength and pillar. She's telling Mr. X. But then why should this pillar be rotted like this? The termites that are attacking it. You are my pillar. I want to have security. Why don't you take Baba's time? He just hears some Baba music, some little stories from her. He reads sometimes, you see. All of a sudden, one day, says, where did you get all these things? Says, well, I have been to Mortuary Center there, and there are people there, you see. Something quite different there. They told me about it. They told me not to feel worried over it, because all this will pass away. Because Mehera said that anything that has a beginning will have an end. Even your prosperity and your happiness would have had an end. Even this that has started, you see, this rot that has started in our home will also have an end. So not to worry, but to remember Baba, Mehera Baba, they said. So where is the place? How far is the place? He says, some hundreds of miles away. So let's go there. I want a change. I would like to go there. So he goes there with his wife and children. And Kitty and Elizabeth are very happy to see this woman bringing her husband, because he was instrumental in getting her there. So his rot means what I mean to say is, his disease was instrumental in taking her to Baba. So should we despise the disease? No. It was such a great thing, you see, for her. And not only his disease brought her first to Baba, but it brought him also. So we should never despise anything or anybody or anybody's traits or habits or anything. So that's what Baba has told us. So now this husband and wife and the children are at the center, they have a good time. This man forgets about all his woes and all that and has peace there. And then he comes across, people like Fred and Ella and people like Lyndon and Phyllis and others, you see. And then he sees Charles and Jane is there. And all these people are there all around, you see, and bombardment, you see, is there. All the time. There's intense bombardment upon his mind that is agitated, you see, and is being stilled. Because when bombardment is from all directions, naturally there is no way, you see, it has to become still. It perforce seems to be still, you see. It is stunned and still. Then he comes back home. While coming back, his wife drives him to his home. En route, he is thinking deeply as to what has become of him, where he was and what happened to him. So, it so happened that en route, he decides to change his life, the way of his life, and lead a life, you see, that would please Baba, that what he has said and all. And he is determined, he is resolved. He comes there to his home. The first step he puts in his home back with his wife, as if they are newly married, you see. He takes his wife, you see, and says, well, this is the first day now, we begin a life. I have completely changed from the phase of my whole life now. Let us have a new life in his love. Let's live the new life. So even if there is none from Baba's family to lead the new life will remain eternal as long as man changes his mind to change his life, its life from the old to the new. That's what Baba meant by it. And new life, anybody can live that new life. It has different aspects and different degrees. That there is no end to all this, see, in giving out explanations.
I have a question about one of the explanations for the new life, and that's that one of the things that I've noticed that I feel like changing is that I always have noticed that intellectual warfare, a mental sort of arguing over just things, I believe this, you believe that. And when I'm talking to someone like that, for a long time I would argue. And it never got anywhere. Nothing ever happened. So then I read that discourse on the new humanity, where I suddenly realized that this warfare would be good if we could change that as well as physical warfare, And so I started trying to change it, but I don't really know how to change it. I realized that if I just listen to someone,
that is the thing I was about to say, that instead of waging warfare within yourself, what happens? Why these wars are waged within oneself, you see, because we don't give enough time for our faculty of hearing, you see, to absorb things.
Right.
While somebody is talking or speaking or just a casual talk also,
right.
Mind is somewhere else, It has not been absorbed anything, you see. Or the mind feels itself so strong and mind thinks that, all this is gibberish. I know, I already know. Before he utters the first sentence, the mind testifies that, I know everything what he wants to say. Doesn't think.
Right.
So let us not have that attitude. Change that attitude of the mind, and there will be a great change, you see. There will be some sort of truce first before peace is established. So that's where we always falter, our mind thinks. Before somebody speaks out a sentence, the mind says, I know everything that he wants to say. There's nothing to hear now.
Well then, I've sort of realized that. I realized that once I listened to someone, rather than arguing with them, it changed everything. But then, the second thing I realized, the second big problem was that often I would listen to someone, And then my mind, of course, after I listened and heard what they said, I would think of something that I thought maybe could help them, or maybe that they were saying was wrong. And I would put that out, and they wouldn't see it, right? And then, that's when the mind goes, listen to me.
Your duty is to just tell them, not to demand that they should listen to you.
Right.
Your responsibility and duty, do so, do tell them. But it's not your duty and responsibility to demand that they must listen to you. No.
Right.
Well, they have got 2 years. If they care to contain your words within the scope of 2 years, well and good. If they prefer to throw your words out the other year, they are free to do. Why should one demand that?
Right.
Never get upset or anything. After all, who are we first of all? We are ourselves learning, you see.
Right.
We must have important thing Baba wants us to do is knowing fully well that we have now come in contact in one way or the other with the highest of the high. It is such a boon to at least have an understanding that he is the highest of the high that makes us feel the lowest of the low. I don't know whether you all are following what I am driving at, because one of the most important codes in life is to be humble. And how can one be humble? Unless and until there is a gauge, you see, that how low you are. So through his compassion, he comes time and again as the gauge of as being the highest of the high. So how low we are in comparison, and who are we to demand anything or expect anything of others when we are so low, lowest of the lowest. So that's how we should take it. And then only our words will reach others. If we are simple, natural, when the heart speaks instead of the intellect, allowing any scope to intellect, when the heart must speak, then it penetrates.
That's what was really good about Einstein.
Yeah. Simple.
A genius, but
Simple.
humble.
Yeah. Humble. You remember one day what happened with Einstein? Do you know the story?
His daughter came, I knew that. Was a
No, his other personal side. It so happened, you see, that in his neighborhood there was another family living. And there was a girl, you see, who was attending school from the neighbor's house. Neighbor's girl. And she was very weak in mathematics. She passed her kindergarten, first standard, second standard. Mathematics was demanded of her. Well, she didn't know what to do. She was very upset because of the mathematics problem. In the meantime, she was hearing that there was a genius as a neighbor. You see. She didn't know who Einstein is and what now. After he had becomes world famous. You see, this is theory of relativity. After this, mind you. So, one day she quietly sneaks out, just goes to the house and knocks at the door. And the door is open. She says, "What do you want, child?" She says, "I want to see uncle." "What uncle? Whose child?" "I'm from the neighbor. Here, I live here, and uncle wants me there." She was very shrewd there. Which uncle? Who is that? "One old man who is here. His uncle." So of course, somebody who was there was fascinated with the child's reply and just knocked at the study room of Einstein. Open, and here is the child. So she goes close to him and says, "Uncle." Of course, the door is locked again. "Well, my child, what do you want? What do you want from me?" He says, "Uncle, I have come to you for help. Can you help me?" He says, "What help do you want?" Then she tells her story, you see, that how backward she is in mathematics, and that the teacher admonishes her and punishes her and all that, and she doesn't know what to do. And she doesn't care for mathematics. As long as her homework is over, it's all right. She says, "Will you please help me to do the homework every day?" She says, "Of course I will do the homework every day for you, provided you come on time." "Yes, I will come on time. When do you get free time?" So she would come regularly there. One day it so happens that after a year or two, then automatically, naturally, she was getting good marks, and the teacher was very surprised, and the teacher loved the child very much and all that. And one day the report reached the parents that this child was having good marks and she has completely turned a page, you see, in her life. She is doing very well in mathematics. So the mother asked the child, where did you learn this mathematics? The uncle teaches me. How do you know? Which uncle? This is the neighbor here. How is he? An old man, young man?